We have two chocolate labs that keep us pretty busy. They're 2.5, so we do a lot with them. Um, a lot of work, and yeah, we watch a lot of sports.
Okay, sweet.
So when we have time to watch TV and stuff like that, we watch, every Saturday and Sunday the Premier Leagues when there's a good game on. Um, yeah, that's most what we do. I mean, we just kind of hang out, and
All
the
right.
dogs keep us pretty busy. So you know,
Yeah, no, that's so
there's not a
true.
whole lot to do after that. So
Ew, that's tight. And how did you just switch from soccer to weightlifting, or are you more powerlifting, or?
I do powerlifting. For me personally, so how I kind of switched over was it was very long. So we did a lot of Olympic lifting in school.
Okay.
It was pretty new at the time, and I honestly I was not a fan of the lifting part at it. When we were in school, I just wanted to be on the soccer field. I didn't want to lift. I didn't want to do anything. So I have a lot of people that are like, "This is kind of funny that this is your thing now because you hated lifting." I hated going to lifting class or, when we had lifting times and stuff like that. So actually what happened is when I graduated, I moved to Chicago and I was
Okay.
a bartender there for about 10 years. And I kind of just got to the point where I couldn't handle being a bartender, the time, the people, the schedule,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Um, and so I started looking into, I, I've always lifted. But at that time it was, I would go, just like your average lifter, go 3 times a week, do your body part split, you know,
Yep.
wasn't like, I mean, I was very consistent about it, but it wasn't my thing. And then when I moved back here, I didn't want to bartend anymore. So that was when I had already gotten my certifications and stuff like that. So that's when I decided that I didn't, that was what I was going to do. And so I applied out at Core Fitness that is
Okay.
there now. It was the one out on Mormon Track. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was where I got my first job. And I was there for about 2 years, I think. And things were just kind of starting to fall apart. I wasn't liking it. Not real good with working for people either. So I kind of
Yep.
decided that the stars kind of aligned because I just was looking around on Craigslist and there was a garage gym or a garage space open where I am now. And it was one of those things where like I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna go on my own. So I kind of transitioned out of core and brought a few people with me, and then so I've been out there since 2017, like September of 2017 now.
Okay,
So
nice. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's kind of how it evolved.
And is it have you found so you're there every day, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'm there most mornings. And my clients, so I power lift, but most of my clients don't. So most of my clients are more just your average, um, from all age ranges, but
Mhm.
just looking to get stronger, get healthier every day. You know, some of them are older. I have a lady that pre she was diagnosed with pre osteoporosis. And in the 2 years we've been working together, well, 2 years since she got off medication, she's actually increased her bone density in her lumbar spine. So I have a lot of different, variations of people from some that are power lifters, some
Mhm.
that are general lifting, and then, your older crowd that are looking to maintain health, increase bone density,
Mhm.
functionality, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And with the for like the osteoporosis, because my mom just got diagnosed
Okay.
with that. So she's been just she's active, she bikes a lot, but she's just been weightlifting more, and she's just been looking for tips and things. So that makes me happy to hear. So
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. It
um,
really does help. It really does help. I mean, she was active. This lady was active before, but in the last 2 years, her spine has increased and her hip, where she was decreasing, has maintained. So it does help.
ew. Yeah, and it's such a difference. Like once you actually enjoy like lifting and working out compared to just being forced to. Cause I was kind of the same way like in high school, I didn't really like to lift or practice, but I was just like athletic and things, so it
Right.
worked. But I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. And then probably around 2019, 2020, my fiance she was just she does like a yoga and weightlifting, and I haven't lifted since college. So I'm like, well, I guess I could get back into it, and just now it's like one of my main hobbies. It's like
Nice.
I can't like not go and things, and it's just such a good time. But it's like, oh, it took me a long time to even like figure out like what I want to do and what my goals are.
Right.
So just having another person to talk off of
Yeah.
have been so helpful.
Nice.
And, yeah, so now I feel like I've been going to the gym like consistently, probably, I mean, since 20, probably like 3 years now. Try
Nice.
try to go like 3 to 4 times a week, mostly three.
Nice.
But I'm at like a level where it's like, okay, I've been doing the same stuff for like a year, and I want to do like more stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really know like what to do, if that makes sense.
Yep. Totally. What are you doing now?
So I mostly do like leg day, arm day, abs, and then the fourth day will be a mixture.
Mm-hmm.
And last year with a lot of like legs and things, but now this year I've just been focusing a little bit more on abs and upper body. But I want to start just lifting more like heavy weights,
Mm-hmm.
like with a deadlifts and things. Because for me I'll put on like the three plates on like the squared bar where
Oh,
you
that's the trap
grab
bar.
like
Yep.
yep, yeah, and I'll just do like three sets of eight.
Mm-hmm.
But like it'd be fun to lift like more, but at the gym I'm not really in like that setting to have like a spotter and things. So I was like,
Right.
hey, I see you doing all these power lifts. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to get in
Where do
there.
you live at?
I lifted fitness on Fifth and Gilbert Street Fitness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
one close to my house and one close to my work, so it just
Okay. Nice.
works out.
And do they have like powerlifting? Like, is there powerlifting, or are they more kind of like your Globo gym, small
Like it's more
space?
like your global gym like machines and like
Yep.
some like dumbbells and stuff, but they do have like one like powerlifting area.
Nice. That's cool.
Mhm. And have you found like what are some of your favorite exercises?
Well, in powerlifting, I specialize in squat, bench, and deadlift. So those are the three that I primarily do, or variations of all of those.
Mm.
Depending, I have a meet in May, so things are getting a little more specific, if you will.
Okay.
Um, kind of depends on where I'm at in the year. Like if I have a meet coming up, things are different. If I'm Last year I took the whole year off, so nothing ever looks completely different. Like I'm always have a primary squat day, a primary deadlift day, a primary bench
Hmm.
day, and then I have a secondary of all of those as well, and then accessory work. And then so I go 4 days a week minimum. If I can look ahead and see that 5 days a week will work, I'll do that. But I usually leave my fifth day for like extra accessory work, nothing that I have to do.
Hmm.
So I usually do, a main lift. So like today I squatted and I deadlifted today. It was my secondary deadlift day, my main squat day. And then I did three different accessory exercises. But as for like favorite lifts, probably deadlift. I mean, I loved it. I love deadlifting. It comes easy too. I mean, I'm living squat right now. But yeah, I don't get bored with the monotony of it, I guess is what you could
Hmm.
say, because I don't find it monotonous. I find like the process is pretty interesting to me. Um,
Hmm.
so, I mean, if someone were to look at my programming from 3 years ago up until today, it's not going to look a lot different. Like you're not going to be like,
Hmm.
oh wow, it's going to be here and there. Some accessories are different, but for the most
Hmm.
part, I've been powerlifting since 2019 is when I
Hmm.
did my first competition. I mean, it looks pretty much the same, other than like I took some deadlift a secondary day out one time, for a little bit, or I'll add in a fifth day, or those kind of things. Accessory work changes, or like I said, my secondary work will change, or set and rep schemes will change depending on where I'm at in
Hmm.
in the year.
Yeah, and I feel like with you must have like your numbers just kind of locked in. Like,
Yeah, so how I kind of do it usually, I base all my numbers off of what my previous PRs were. So I've
okay.
been taking them from my previous meet, which and then there's calculators you can use. So I have surpassed those, I'm sure by now. And you can put your numbers like if you do, a 350 deadlift for three, it'll give you your estimated one rep max. And so if that's more than my last PR, I'll use that instead. But usually I'll
Mhm.
take what my last meet PRs were or what they kind of are around that. And then, yeah, all my numbers are based off of that, depending on, again, how many reps I'm going to do. If I'm doing 3x8, I'm going to
Mhm.
take my numbers and skew them a little bit depending on how well I. I think it's really big for people to know how um, their body and how they lift too. Like I'm a pretty slow deadlifter, so if you were to look at my deadlift, you'd be like, "Oh, that looks like it's really hard because it's moving pretty slow." I'm just a slow deadlifter, so I know that. So I can, and I video myself, so I
Mhm.
can see those things. So I know that like I do pretty well on high reps too. So I can get my uh, a set of 3x8, I can use a higher rep scheme than someone else may be able to just because they'll fatigue faster. So there's
Mhm.
a lot of different things that go into deciding what you're, but for everybody, you can kind of take those PRs. And then if you're just, if you're not doing a one rep max ever, you can kind of take those, like if you did a heavy set of three, you can put it into a calculator and get a fairly good estimate of what your one rep max would be and then use
Mhm.
those from there too.
And for me, that seems to be like the most complicated part because I mostly do like 8 reps for most max exercises.
Hmm.
So I feel like most like sets of 12 or 3 sets of 8. And I know that you obviously can do like the heavier for less reps.
Right.
And for some of the machines, like not in like a braggy way, but like they're maxed out on like the weight, so it's like, well, I can just keep doing leg press, but I would like to increase the weight.
Right.
That's why I started to switch over to like deadlifts and things like that.
Right. And with the machine stuff too, you're not getting the compound movement with it with all the other muscle. I mean, with your leg
Hmm.
press machine, you're getting your leg, which is great. But when you're doing like a squat, you're getting core, back stability, hip stability, leg strength, and then all those other small muscles that are going to keep you, whereas the machines keep you set and
Hmm.
move.
Yep.
You're in a set plane. I mean, I guess we'd say it's kind of moving. It's keeping you in the correct positions.
Hmm.
So the compound exercises that would be equivalent to like a leg press are going to be a lot harder, but you're going to be able to push them for more because you're going to come to a point where you get maxed out on the machines.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's been not really a challenge, but just like the next step has been like, okay, let's kind of build out like a new, more specific workout compared to just being like, let's do this for 3 sets of 10 and then just hop on the next thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing a lot of people do, and that's why they don't see progress, is because they're not following, like a linear progression of some sort,
Hmm.
or a program of some sort. And I get where, some people just don't have the time, and so going to even like classes, stuff like that, it's
Hmm.
better than doing nothing. But I think if you can and you have the ability to have a set program and be able to follow a linear progression and see your progressions too, it makes a huge difference rather than,
Hmm.
I think a lot of people, their other problem is that they go to the gym and they don't have a plan and they don't know what to do. And they get,
Oh.
it's like, oh my God, where do I go? What should I do today? And then it's just overwhelming for them and they leave, so you're not seeing
Hmm.
any progress because you're not there's no markers for where what you did last week and then what you're doing this week, or nothing's flowing together. Like, are you just doing chest press and then you do a leg press and then is it just random? So I think that's the biggest thing is people realizing that if you like I go back to the monotony of it, doing the same thing over and over and over again is really how you make the most progress.
Okay, yeah,
And
and
you
it.
can make progress with doing 3x8. There's people that
Mhm.
they you don't have to do sets of 2 or 3. Um, Either way, you can build muscle.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on kind of your goal, which way you want to go. And I personally think most people um, benefit from a little bit of both, because your relative strength, your relative heavy is going to be your relative heavy, not mine. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
when I say that to people, like, oh, we're going to do a heavy set of 2, they think it's like, oh my god, and I'm like, well, no, you're not doing my heavy set of 2. We're doing
Oh.
your heavy set of 2. So it's relative to, heavy is relative to you, not comparing.
Mhm, yep. Yeah. All right. And one thing I was just to realize too is most. So I got back into the gym in 2020 was probably around like 250, 255. But then in
Mm-hmm.
high school, like I said was 285. And I'm 6'3", so more like like alignment type, just like big, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm down to like 220, 225, I'm still doing the things like to lose weight, cause that's been like my whole life,
Right.
like don't gain weight, and now it's like, oh, I think I want to like put on more muscle. It's like a weird like whole new
Switch to
experience.
doing things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say too, I mean, um, lifting is one of the best ways to lose weight. But especially if you're trying to put weight back on, resistance training, lifting heavy, like I said, relatively, and a mixture of different rep schemes, weights. So you're getting one, it just kind of changes things up a little bit, so you're not doing 3x8
Mhm.
every time. And 3x8s, when you're getting into, barbell stuff, so compound exercises, it kind of sucks because it's hard. Um,
Mhm.
but getting, that's a really well rounded way to build muscle. So you're not just in a super high rep, and my high rep is like 8 to 10
Mhm.
hypertrophy, and you're also getting a little strength. You're getting a little bit of all sides of strength training.
Yeah.
And you
And
got to feed yourself though and eat your protein, because
dude,
otherwise you won't build any muscle.
dude, and yeah. So that's a hard. So I'm not sure if hard's the right word, but I feel like for me, because of my size, I'm should eat more. But I've just been like I said in the mindset of eat less, eat less, and now it's like I would need to eat more protein than like I'm craving. So I've been doing like protein shakes and like just like meats and stuff and bars. But
Protein shakes are a really good way to supplement it, because protein is so filling, and it is hard to
Mhm.
eat enough of. If you're looking to gain weight and muscle, 1 pound or 1 gram per pound body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you're looking at 200 grams of protein a day, which is a lot. So
Mhm.
if you're protein shakes are a great way to supplement it too, because after there's a point of diminishing returns with protein as well. And the heavier you are, obviously, the harder it is to get that much protein, because it's
Mhm.
abundant amount. So protein shakes, that's what I have a lot of my clients, especially if they have just started like tracking and they're still at a pretty low protein level. Most
Mhm.
people aren't getting more than like 70 grams of protein a day. Um, to just say, okay, well, now you need to eat 130 grams, they're going to be so full. So liquid protein shakes are a really easy way to get that extra protein in and not feel like you're just dying because you're so full.
Yeah. And that was making me think of like listening to like Chris Hemsworth of like how much he eats before like he gets into like shape for Thor, and now trying to do that, you're like, oh, okay, like yeah, that's how much you'd have to eat if you're working out just all the time and things.
Yep, totally. Well, it's like, Michael Phelps. I remember they released his diet. I mean, he was eating like 6,000 calories a day or something. I mean, there's no way, you have to supplement somehow with other
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah, it's just people don't realize how much you actually need to eat, because we have all, especially I grew up kind of in the 90s when it was eat
Mm-hmm.
less, eat less, eat less, be skinny, you
Mm-hmm.
know, trend. So it's there's a lot of people that are in that mindset of just like you have to eat less all the time,
Yeah,
and it can
yeah.
be very counterintuitive to most people's goals because I don't think most people understand that they probably don't want to actually weigh less. They want to look a different way. And
Oh, yeah.
nutrition,
Ooh,
you
that's a
know,
good one.
by not by not fueling, your muscles, you're
Mm.
not going to look how you want by just losing weight
Uh-huh.
on a
Yeah,
scale. You know what I mean?
yeah. And to piggyback on that, it's such a different thing because I remember you were talking about the BMI stuff, and that's always just been like weird. Cause even when I was in high school, like I was big, but I was always like fast, could dunk a basketball ball, and just like athletic. But I was technically like more morbidly obese. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Well, I mean, even now, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I could lose 5 pounds. But again, I'm in meat prep, so we're waiting for that to go for a little bit. But I mean, even if I go to the doctor right now, they would put me in an obese, just because it's
Dude.
it's so stupid. It is a height and weight, and so it's just an average. It's some dumb calculation that somebody came up with. And I mean, if you are morbidly obese, you don't need a BMI calculator to tell you this. So I
Yeah,
think the thing that really is shitty is you get people that are athletic and have a lot of muscle, and then they go into these doctors that use BMI calculators. Or I had one of my clients who does not need to lose any weight. She needs to actually do the opposite: eat more, lose body fat,
mhm.
gain muscle. Um, and they basically told her, your BMI is this, and they took her. I can't even remember how they figured out her body fat percentage, but it wasn't a DEXA scan, it wasn't an in body, it wasn't anything like that,
Oh yeah.
and it just crushed her. And it's like this is not what we should be doing in the health industry. Because she's older than me, grew up in that like eat less,
Oh
weigh
yeah.
less. You need to weigh less, and so yeah, these BMI calculators and stuff like that. I mean, it's like I know that I'm not over, obese, but
Yeah.
for somebody that is mentally, struggling with weight, even if
Yeah.
they don't need to lose weight, and then they hear that, it's like an awful thing to do. And I hate when I even go into doctor's office and see the BMI chart hanging. It's like I just want to run out of there. Anyways, like you don't know what you're talking about. So
Yeah, there's just so much new like just cool information with like health and lifting that like one example is the Huberman labs using Andrew
yep.
Huberman did all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is he was talking about cooling your palms between like reps and stuff. And I started trying that like 2 months ago, and like it's like, oh, this seems to work, so
Well, and
I
I
do
think a
that
lot
now.
of it is, it's a lot of placebo effect too, I think. But if it works, it works, So there's a lot of, I mean, he's a neuroscientist too, so he he does dive into some things that are a little more intricate, and I think um more than what most people are going to attempt,
Oh yeah, like
but there's some good takeaways from some of that stuff too. But yeah, everybody, I think that's the thing, is just everybody has to find what works for them too.
yeah. Then with that, I've noticed it's like the biggest thing might be is between reps before that, I would wait like 20 seconds, like not long at all. Now if I get it up and like just cool my hands, so I'm just giving myself more time between reps too. Then
Right.
that's been a big difference. So,
Absolutely, because
so
a
yeah.
lot of people don't, especially the whole like high rep, or not high rep, interval training thing. And I will say, I have a lot of clients that right now they're only there for an hour, and some of them are only there for once a week or twice a week. So you have to kind of jam a little bit more into your time period that you have.
Mhm.
So doing like a push pull, but people forget that you can't just go push pull back to push. You have to give yourself like a little bit of time in between, because your fatigue, you have to give your body time to adjust, or recover from fatigue.
Mhm.
So even if it's a minute or a minute and a half, usually for most people, I don't think they need more than that, but most people just want to like keep rushing into it because they want to get as much in. They think that if they're not fitting as much in as possible in 1 hour or
Mhm.
whatever that time you have, that it's a waste, that just sitting there
Mhm.
kind of like, if I have to say like, okay, we're going to take 1 minute break here, it's like, wait, what? I'm losing my money because I'm not just
Oh,
weightlifting. And it's like, no,
yeah.
you're actually gaining your money because you're going to be able to do better on the next lift.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so yeah, that's such a truth. That and
Or you could
uh
just be a power lifter and you wait like 5-10 minutes in between all your lifts.
yeah, so
I
with
tell
power,
people a lot I spend more time walking around half the time, and
I,
especially when you get closer to a meet. I spend a lot more time walking around waiting to lift than actually
oh, yeah.
lifting.
No, yeah, that's wild. And so is what makes lifting powerlifting? Is it like mostly um to me it's like your squats, deadlifts, bench, and it's mostly like 1 or 2 reps.
Just one rep. So if you're
Oh,
competing in a powerlifting meet, you do three you have 3 attempts at squat, 3 attempts at bench, 3 attempts at your deadlift. Uh, you have to make one. So there's different requirements with each. So like squat, for example, they have a squat command. Then you have to reach depth, and then you have a rack command. So there's 3 commands, and then you have 3 lights, 3 reds, or you have 3 lights. So if you get 2 reds, that's a missed lift. If you get 2 or more whites, that's a made lift. So you have to make one of each of those to stay in the meet. And then at the end of the time, and there's a lot of nuances that go into it, like especially once you get into really high level lifting of not just trying to make your PR, but trying to kind of make jumps and moves to win the
oh,
meet. So it gets a little more intricate than
that's
most
wild.
people that are doing powerlifting are
Hmm.
just kind of going in to see what they can lift.
Hmm.
And then they put it into a formula that basically takes everyone, because you're competing against everyone. You have weight
Hmm.
classes, but then all powerlifting meets will have an overall winner. And
Oh
how
yeah, yeah.
they do that is they take and all of even the weight classes, because you have a weight class, but not everybody weighs the same. So they take your weight and the totals you've lifted and put it into a mathematical calculation. It gets your most powerlifting it's called DOTS, DOTS, and it'll give you your score, and then that's how it basically takes the weight you've lifted and your body weight and makes it relative to everyone else.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like your
So
pound
that's
for
how you.
pound.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you said your next event's in May.
Yep. May 24th.
Oh, where's that at?
Uh, Carroll Stream, Chicago.
Oh, bro.
Not Carroll
Okay.
Stream, Chicago. Carroll Stream, Illinois. It's outside of Chicago.
Oh, okay, nice.
I've lived there for 10 years. For
So are they
powerlifting,
called meets?
I actually have done most of my meets at this one particular gym. It's a really good
Hmm.
gym. They do really good meets. If you ever have a chance to go see a powerlifting meet at this gym, it is awesome. It's called Surge to New Levels Gym in Carroll Stream. Check them out on their website. They do a amateur day and then a pro day. So they have this meet, and then they have a meet in September, which I may or may not do. Uh, but it's, I think, going to be one of the premier pro day meets
Hmm.
for powerlifting in the country this year.
Oh, okay.
They were getting a lot of really good competition. So it'll be a really fun meet to go watch too.
Hmm.
Just a really good environment, really good gym. I mean, to drop in there and lift anything. Sergio is his name that owns it. He's
Hmm.
awesome. It's a really good space. So I have been going there for most of my meets as of the last few years. Um, I started actually at the University of the UPA, which is a powerlifting federation. Did a meet here, and that's what kind of got me to do it, just because it was local.
Hmm.
And then I was going to Dubuque for a lot of them. Then I switched federations, and powerlifting is also kind of one of those things where there's multiple federations and things are always
Oh,
changing. Um, so I've done meets in a lot of them in Des Moines, Marshalltown, but I really like the Surge, and it just kind of spaces out through the year really well to do one in May and one in
mhm.
September. So I've basically just kind of stuck to those two
Oh,
two
no, that's
dates.
awesome.
Yeah.
And is there are people that you like look up to in like the do you like physique why they're in like the powerlifting world?
Physique wise in the powerlifting world, not really,
Yeah, because
um,
it's like
because everybody's so different. It's
yeah,
I
so
think
maybe not physique wise, but anyone you see like lift where you're like, oh, like I'm a Like for me it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like The Rock.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like
would say
that
my
that type of
biggest, the ones I like. I mean, I follow quite a few people.
stuff.
Megan Scanlon. She's out of Boston. Her Instagram is Megs Can Lift. Yeah. Um, I mean, she's awesome. She's actually in my same weight class, and she benches like 330 or something ridiculous. I mean, that's like double what I can do. I mean, she's an IPF, international, powerlifter.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I look to her. I watch her a lot. We kind of have
Okay, cool.
somewhat same proportions too. I think that's a lot of things that people, when they're comparing themselves to, especially in the powerlifting or strength world, um, or even in bodybuilding, physique, stuff like that, is everybody's built so differently. So it's so hard to compare. And she's talked about it on her Instagram too, of like everybody, because she has an enormous bench, and she's a really good squatter as well. But everybody gives her shit because they say that, oh, you have short arms, so it's so easy to bench. And then but her Meg is like, okay, but you have long arms, so it's easy for you to deadlift. Like everybody's gonna have um their physique pros and cons. If you were doing a bodybuilding show, somebody may have better shoulder. So it's so a waste of time to compare yourself to anybody else with it, because they're everybody can compare each other to each other, and nobody's going to be happy at all. So it's like,
Yeah.
just stay in your own lane and do what you do best, or what works best for you, especially like in the powerlifting world. You have to find your techniques that work best with your body type. Like if I tried to do something that somebody 6'4" is doing, it's not going to work for me. And if you try to squat like I squat, it's not going to work for you. You have to kind of, or at least compare yourself to people that are a little bit more
Oh yeah, that's
like you.
one thing that I've never been good at squats. Um, yeah, just hard. I'm finally getting more just flexible and stuff where I can do like mostly just do like front squats with
Mhm.
like a kettlebell. They're used to like the slanted machine.
Yep.
But that's about it for squats. They're just like some body weight squats.
Right. Yep.
And sometimes, well, it's not hard, but sometimes it's like I'll see somebody squatting like, well, I can squat that. I should go squat, but like, no, like just keep the ego out, which is so hard.
Yes. Very hard.
Yeah, especially like with the deadlift list, because sometimes I'll see like, man, I want to like try like 500, 600 pounds, but I don't really have a but that's just because I'll be doing my sets. I'm like, well, I almost want to tell people like, hey, I could be doing more, but I just don't want to. There's
Right.
always just that ego, and it's like, why do I feel this way?
Right.
This
It's
way?
fun
Yeah.
lifting heavy weights. Like
Mhm, yeah.
I think if more people did it, they would see. I mean, it's not always fun. I will, sometimes it's like, oh my god, but when you do it, it is very satisfying, very rewarding. Um, and so it is fun, to be able to do one rep for your max,
Mhm,
rather than constantly doing, sub max level
mhm,
stuff. Obviously you shouldn't be doing one rep maxes every week, or check your ego. But when the time,
mhm.
time and place, I think more people, or even just lifting heavy in general, people
Yeah.
just are always. Um, I think if more people push themselves harder, they would see more results and they would get more out of it, instead of the
Mhm.
constant, like, this is torture. If you
No,
just paid
yeah.
attention and followed a program and pushed yourself, I think that more people, if they had more, being more involved in the process rather than just going to someone, it makes it
Mhm,
more enjoyable.
yeah.
I mean, there's some people
I
that,
agree.
whatever, they just hate it, but
Do you do any like yoga type or stretching or anything like
I
that?
don't. I'm really bad at that. I don't. I'm not very. I don't sit still very well, so yoga gets really boring for me. I used to do Bikram yoga, when I lived in Chicago. I would do that quite a bit, but I think the reason I liked that was it was hot. One, so I was getting a sweat,
Oh yeah.
and two, you always did the same 24 or 26 poses.
Hmm.
So it was very like, for me mentally, I knew where we were at in the whole class.
Oh yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, I've done a couple yoga classes and it's just like, what time do we, when is
Yeah.
this
No, fair,
over?
fair.
So no,
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of stretching. I do more foam rolling,
Oh,
um,
okay. Yeah.
than stretching. So
And how do you like are you not sore just all the time?
no.
Or
That's another thing that a lot of people think, that you're going to be sore all the time, and one, your body adapts. So,
hmm
um, I've been doing this for 7 years plus all the lifting I've done before that. So no, I'm not usually sore. The only time I get sore is if, especially at like a new, um, the beginning of a new block, if I have like a, like squats for 8, usually that'll get me sore.
uh,
And it's usually just the one, because it's new. So it's a new
mhm.
stimulus, because I'm usually coming off of doing heavier ones and twos. And so the
Mhm.
8 is just a lot more hypertrophy, a lot more time under tension. Um, there's random times where I'll be sore, but for the most part, if you're gradually, and if you're not, if you're keeping your ego in check and you're progressing slowly week to week, your body adapts. So being sore is usually from doing something that your body's not used to. Um, oh, I got a low battery, but that's okay. I'll have to get my husband's charger out here.
Oh,
Um,
no stress. I gotta go pick up the little guy here soon. So no worries.
um, I think the more people, one, they think that they have to be sore all the time, which isn't true, and two, it's usually when you're doing, for example, I did the ab wheel the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't done that in weeks, and I do this to myself all the time. I will randomly be like, oh, I want to do the ab wheel, and I'll do it. I'll do 3 sets of 10, whatever. This is great, easy. And then I am so sore.
Yeah.
I was sore for 5 days. My stomach hurt
Okay.
so bad because I'm not used to that stimulus, because I don't do it all the time. I
Mm-hmm.
either need to just stop doing it altogether or put it in my program more often, so that,
Mhm.
you know, but so it's usually you're super sore when you go off program and you do way more weight than you're supposed to, or you're doing something, random here and
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just because sometimes if like my first day of the week gets leg day, then I'll just like, oh, I'm fresh. I'll just lift hard, and then my leg is just like sore, and then the next day, so I'll go to jog, and it just sucks. So
Yes.
so so I just gotta fight through essentially.
Well, I think the biggest
Or
thing would probably be, are you following a program, or are you just going in and doing what you feel like at that day? Because if you're following a program, you should be starting at something like around, that is like a, I don't know if you do RPE or RIR, but it's a way of
those are just hard to
exertion.
beat too. Those just yeah, nothing.
So RPE is rate of perceived exertion. I use that with more advanced lifters. Like I use that for myself to rate how the lift felt.
Mhm.
RIR is reps in reserve. So do you think you could do one more rep after this? Could you do
Mhm.
2 more reps after this? So a good place to start is like an RIR 3. So most of my clients, I will start their first week of their block. All their accessory work is like an RIR 3. You could do 3 more pretty easy, and then
Okay.
you slowly, gradually RIR 2 this week, and then your RIR 1, and then your
Uh,
RIR 1 will, as you go through the weeks, get heavier.
mhm.
So I think a lot of people, like you said earlier, is they're just starting too heavy. And so that's probably why you're getting so sore. And
Yo.
then I would say another thing to think about is your nutrition. Like, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough carbs? And are you getting enough water? Because those are all going to
Oh.
um, go into your recovery. So if
Yeah.
those aren't adequate, then your body isn't going to recover as well. Sleep, all those
Mhm.
other things that are super not fancy but are, basics, are going to go into your recovery. And
Mhm.
then there's also days where you're going to have a heavy leg day, and then if you try to run the next day, yeah, you just got to fight through it.
Yeah,
That.
yeah. For me, I would say just sleep is the hardest part because
Mm-hmm.
I just love to stay up late. I
Mm-hmm.
naturally do, and then I get up around 6:30 most days. So, but
Yeah, those are the things I would look into, is your, rest, recovery, and nutrition.
yeah, yeah. Then even just thinking of the three extra rep thing. What were that called?
The reps in reserve.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be a big one for me.
Hmm. That's what I use for a lot of people because reps in reserve is pretty specific. It's, can you, do you think you could do one more, two more, three more? Where it doesn't work is most people haven't ever pushed themselves to a failure.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think I have a client right now, he's really struggling that he failed the other day. And it's like, that's fine. We need you. Like, this is good. Most people actually short themselves because they're not pushing themselves hard enough to go to failure and don't know what it feels like. And so
Mm-hmm.
they think they're doing an RIR1 when it's actually an RIR3.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, with RPE, that's a little more advanced because it isn't just, do I think I could do one more? It's a
Mhm.
little more of like, how did that feel? How did that move? There's more internal. It's not just an external,
Uh,
like I could do one more. Like I've done a squat before where there's no way I could do one more, but it wasn't an
yeah.
RIR1.
Oh yeah,
So they
yeah.
don't
I get you.
necessarily like correlate linear,
Yeah. But that's
across the
just a
board.
good play to start. Just thinking there.
Yeah.
Dude, I like that.
RIR is a good place to start. Going in, especially like on your first block or your first week, trying to stay under because if you overshoot everything, then your whole block
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Nice. Well, definitely gonna start implementing that stuff. And yeah, I would definitely love to come check out your gym and lift, and like if you were down, like make some videos and things. And
yeah, for sure.
my fiance, follows you too.
Oh,
Her name's
cool. What?
Katrina, and then her handle is a fine line hard border bits
Oh,
their
okay.
page.
Cool.
So yeah,
Good to
and
know.
yeah, we were just like, yeah, her gym thing's cool. Then just like your videos and things were awesome. So
Thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
totally kind of switched my Instagram. My best friend was like, you need to separate your personal political Instagram from your work Instagram. So I've kind of switched this year and really tried to focus on not having it all
awesome.
jumbled all over the place and really like
Yeah, yeah, and
exercise. And I think it's really
I
important. So.
oh yeah. I gotta go soon, but I could talk an hour just on that. 'Cause I think sometimes both having it all in one can be a win too. But we just because like it just shows everything about you. Well, that's what I'm starting to do on my IC business page. Like there's some of me just working out and just like some random just like clips because I want people to see all aspects of it and get those people to come in for weightlifting and be like, wait, he's doing a podcast about business, just that type stuff. But I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go on my rant, which I would.
Hey, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but that'd be awesome. Would love to come down, get some lips in, get some videos and stuff done
Yeah,
for
for
you as
sure.
well. Well, yeah. And what's your Instagram handles and Facebook where people can
It's
find you? I'll
my
put it right
Instagram is
here.
CWilkFitness
Hmm.
and my Facebook is CWilkFitness. Yeah.
Perfect.
I think they're both CWilkFitness. Then my email is CWilkFitness@gmail. Keep it simple.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Could talk for another 3 hours. So after your meet, if you want to chat again, that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely. This is fun. I do it all the time.
All right, sweet. And then the meantime, I'll hit you up to get a lifting sometime.
Awesome. Do it.
All right,
That'd be
sweet.
fun.
Well,
Thank
all
you for
right.
inviting me. This is cool.
Oh yeah. Thank you for your time. Bye. I
Thank you.
appreciate it, and I'll see you soon. All right.
Awesome. Have a good afternoon.
Hey, you too. Peace.
Bye.
You